I couldn't find any toxic sludge to pour through a straw directly into my brain. So I did the next best thing, and I opened up Twitter, and here we are. So what is with these people on Twitter? They have like many allusions to like classical art and sort of old Western values, like when men were men, like that kind of thing. What is that kind of person called? What is that? Maybe one of them are watching right now. Maybe they're one of the... Yeah, maybe they're one of the 0 viewers that have watched so far. They're gonna come and chop my head off because I'm too beta, They don't like that kind of thing. I gotta work on it. I gotta be more like Winston Churchill, So look me up on Twitter. My name is Chunk Wilson. In real life, on Twitter, my name is Chunk Wilson. Hey, you're watching MTV. My name is Carson Daly. Check out Britney Spears. You can find her at BritneySpears.com. So no, I'm just kidding. I'm not Carson Daly. I'm a different guy. It doesn't matter. But basically, we're going to play Donkey Kong Country. Just poop me out of a barrel like I mean nothing to God. It's going to be one of those streams, huh? Okay, let's kill these beavers, and then we'll think about our life later. Jesus Christ. Oh. In Donkey Kong, you're always asking yourself, like, isn't this enough, guys? The game's like, nope. There's a bunch more. Levels are perfect. Video is perfect. Everything is perfect. And if you say anything otherwise in the chat, I will hunt you down in a rainforest. Does anyone have any Twitter crushes? People they follow on Twitter who they have a real thing about. There's a real thing about them. Sometimes you just gotta jump in a barrel about it, So here's the interesting thing about VR, which I tried for the first time today. So people are like, oh, it's amazing. You're like, okay. And then you try it and you're like, it's amazing. And this was the Quest 2, which is, I guess, at the kind of bottom floor of the upper to mid-range. I don't know. Let's use 60 different words to describe it. That helps. Obviously, we're all going to live in it in like 20 years. Because if we don't figure things out before then, we're not going to have any other option. When you do Oculus, because it's a drug, I guess, for long enough, and then you come out of it, it's like, it's disorienting because you have to reorient to reality. So your brain, on a subconscious, on a very deep level, registered those events as part of reality. So it's like your brain is so dumb. If it sees something for long enough, it accepts it, no matter what it is. Like, your brain doesn't really need that much fidelity to interpret objects, because it's designed to spot patterns. For example, it's not working right now because I don't know what pattern those birds are coming at me at. If it's a convincing enough facsimile of the real world, you can interact with it and get some kind of gratification of, I don't want to speculate as to what kind. I'm just saying, like, it's not that far off. You know what? We're gonna just move on with our lives. We don't need them. Some people have real problems. For example, homeless people. There's a million of them out. You noticing that? That can't possibly be an indication of anything bad. Maybe they want to be outside because it's warm. Everything that, maybe they just like sunlight. How's this a fair game? Did the gator design this? I don't want to be held captive in your banana prison. You clearly have somewhere to be. I don't want to get in your way. And just let him pass. Just be... Oh, that doesn't work out. So right now is the intermission. If you want to get candy or snacks, are all sold out. So here's something really interesting about the Donkey Kong games. This one came out in 1994, and then the second one came out in 1995. What was going on there? It's like, what is this, Assassin's Creed? I mean, that was the 90s. Is it a cocaine thing? Why does he treat us like this? He's just another monkey. Why aren't we friends? So the reason I pulled up Twitter is so that I can, because I guess I seem to talk about current things that may or may not be happening. We talk about like imperialism, and then we talk about like boogers, right? 2 two areas of expertise, my two wheelhouses, which power the engine of the mind. I'm a monkey. I didn't think he was, but it looks like he's just shooting baseballs at me. And I think that's why I don't like sports. Like, when am I supposed to catch it or get killed by it? Sports are just like, oh, throw stuff at me, please. No thanks. You nuts? Here's some objects. Tossing them at you. No. Where'd you get that idea? Why'd you think I'd be into that? I've had fun playing sports, but it's more the spectatorship part that doesn't. It's definitely more exciting than watching me play Donkey Kong, but it's still really boring. Just like I'm watching like seaweed wash up on the shore. Kind of know what the teams are with seaweed, but I can't string together the sports narratives. I had to do that for a job. I had to kind of report the sports that were happening, and don't come at me, you big bee man. Hold on. What's interesting about it? There's got to be some human element, some engine to it. It's like, no, they're just throwing stuff at each other back and forth for a long time. Sometimes one of them gets bonked on the head and it's nasty. And that's pretty much sports news, so don't read it. So kill a wasp, it's easy. It's like, oh no, he's going up and down. I've never dealt with this. What do? Oh, you just stand there? Okay. Twitter update. I'm gonna read the first thing on Twitter I see, because all that my brain knows how to do anymore is see something and then have a reaction to it. In this day and age, if you're not looking for something to look at, why are you you should be looking at stuff. Like, look at that. Look at this. If you're not looking at stuff, what's the point? The idea bin Laden intended to draw the US into a series of exhausting wars was a cope he invented post facto to make it seem like the Iraq War was all part of the plan. According to contemporaries, bin Laden thought he'd defeat the US in a brief showdown in Afghanistan, and then it would be over. Cool. So that analysis really helped the whole situation get a lot better. Sometimes someone knows something and they're like, I thought of something that I know now. That's what it is, right? Like, you think of something and then you know it. That's what it's like if you're like online. I just have an idea in my head and here's me just locking that down. It's a fact to me now. I don't think I read it anywhere. It just materialized in the goo that makes up my brain. It's hard to say that couldn't have been you. It's like there before the grace of God go I. Like one little, just a knob that was turned in a different direction, 3 degrees in a different direction, everything would have been different. Life is just kind of interacting with various symbols. Not the real things, but symbols, the way they come to us filtered through like perception. And so basically life is just this semiotic journey. It's like walking down this endless cave entrance, and it's this endless tunnel. It's infinite, filled with hieroglyphs on the walls. And you start in a random location that has nothing to do with you. It's all exogenous forces, all predetermined, that brought you to that point. You develop your own semiotic vocabulary, your relationship to those symbols. It's different depending on where you started, because they're all different. So you speak a completely different language depending on it, whether you started 2 miles up there or 2 miles down there. So we all started from scratch in the dark. And everything was North Stars. Just clung to the first thing you saw. So that's why people are like stupid to you, because you define the reality from your mind. So how could you not be the smartest person in reality if it's a projection of all of your experiences and attitudes and politics and philosophies and religions? And in Donkey Kong, you play as this big Donkey Kong. So no, come on, be a smart monkey. Banana. Okay. Are you kidding me? That replicated the feeling that I felt when I lost a spelling bee in 7th grade. It was exactly like that too. It was a weird setup. Wouldn't it be funny if they died doing this? I think it would be funny. Wouldn't it be an embarrassing way to die, to be monkeying around like that, and then you get killed by a big green guy? Watch this. Horrible. Now Diddy Kong has to live with the shame and the grief. I really like Donkey Kong. It's a fun game. Oh, okay. So things happen even when you're not there. Things are just happening to Diddy Kong and they're bad. So what is this guy? Sure. Okay. Yep. It's a rope. You know, you lose some, you win. You lose some and you win. You lose, you learn, you live. Life is like a box of chocolates. Sometimes it tastes like garbage. Sometimes it tastes really good though. Was that it, the quote? Life is like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you get one and it's full of like coconut stuff and you spit it out and you cry to your mom. Life is like a box of chocolates. Sometimes you leave it out and it melts and you sit on it. I'm just guessing. I don't know. What is the quote? Which way should I go? Diddy. You gotta know you're stumped too, man. I don't know. It's a difficult game. What difficulty setting is this on? What? Oh, I forgot about that. I'm a moron, man. Hey, chime in the chat if you're a moron, because I'm one too. Could start a club called the US government. I didn't want to actually drop it, for obvious reasons. I have to make sexual tennis player noises just to get that stupid letter. Now what's on that rope? We'll never know. Cool, let's go to the Ice Age, when men were men. Let's bring back some Western values. Why does this have to exist here? I don't want this guy. We probably have to be him for some kind of messed up reason. If you ever need to be a bird, it's not for a good reason. You shouldn't need to be an ostrich. If you are, you need to rethink your entire life. What are you doing? You don't want to be a bird. Do you know how to pee and poop out of the same hole? Didn't think so. Should have thought of that first. Number 2, they don't have jobs. They don't have any money. See, the thing about Donkey Kong is timing. And hey guys, I'm new in the neighborhood. Okay. Just live here, okay. I'm back, idiot. Come here. But you didn't think that would happen. Now what? He has no idea how to react. You killed my brother, so I hope that you enjoy continuing to be an octopus. Hope that keeps working out for you, because it killed my brother, so stop. Actually, he was just in a barrel the whole time. Okay. Here's the thing about movies. You shouldn't like them as much as you do. You go on Twitter, their entire frame of reference, their entire heuristic for understanding everything is through film. There's like a couple every year that are worth watching. Why don't you watch a video game stream every now and then? Why don't you watch me get killed by an octopus? That's storytelling. So Donkey Kong is a post-apocalypse landscape. Basically, as monkeys, we were humans, but we reverted back because we were like, well, this sucks, so I'm gonna go back to being monkey. And this is how that's working out. Looks great. Good job, guys. So get the G and get out of there. I'm taking my glasses off so you know I'm being earnest with you now. Also, I'm less smart now, so I just lost like 20 IQ points. I don't remember what ignominious means now. I lost that. Kind of sounds like a mid-tier Star Wars villain. So Star Wars, that's still out there, right? They're still making those. In terms of the prequels, you know, they can't all be good, but some of them should be. Make some of them good. I get it. It's like, there's a lot of pressure. It's like, how do we make a follow-up to the movie about, like, how human connection can, like, save the world and, like, people from different backgrounds with different motives can come together for one cause and solidify an effort and defeat a common enemy. It went from that to like, there's some little Lego guys running around getting shot at by a big guy. Something about a trade dispute also. But that part only takes up like 2.5 hours. The rest is the little Lego guys getting blown up real good. So chime in the chat. Tell me what you're doing tomorrow, because I'm going to come over and we're going to play NHL 02. And I'm going to take the good controller. You can have the crappy one, even though it's your house. And I'm going to stay there until 6 o'clock, until your mom kicks me out. And so I was just scavenging for rats the rest of the night because I'm homeless. So on Twitter, what do we got going on? I find this so interesting I don't want to be able to see while I'm saying it. This Rolling Stone article about a doctor at a hospital who said we couldn't get COVID patients in because we were treating all these people who took ivermectin, the horse dewormer, and it wasn't true because he wasn't even he hadn't been a doctor there for several years, and they contacted the doctor, a doctor at the hospital, who said he had no idea what they were talking about. So what do you make of that? Because why would someone make... What's in it for someone to fabricate that? Because presumably this was a real doctor. Was he just like, I'll make something up so that people get vaccinated? Or so that people do what? Don't take the horse deal? I don't understand. Why doesn't it? What if somebody leaves a news tip at a news organization and you're like, who are you? Your name is just Daryl. How global warming is made up because he took the temperature of the water and it seemed cold. I think there was a guy who did say something like that. I was like, well, as soon as your readings are peer-reviewed and verified by some kind of regulatory body, I'm afraid this is not going to be very useful to us. I'm sorry about that. If you did, that would be in my best interest to do that, because we'd be blowing the lid off this crap. Who cares? I don't care if it's real. I hope it's not. Jeez, bring it to me, dude. Let's bust it open. But alas, it never seems to work out that way. I think audiences agree that this stream has gone on for way too long. So we're going to close it out. We're going to read 25 more tweets. Joe Biden's administration just announced that it's opening up 80 million acres for oil and gas drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. They estimate the sale will produce 1.12 billion barrels of oil over the next 50 years. It's a good thing we got Biden right up in the lead there in the primary. It's a good thing we just made way for him. Biden physically did the Biden push, what you expect him to do. He's like, come on, man. He's just like kind of strong-arming people, and people are like, why is this weird old guy is trying to push us around? And in some ways, that's what happened. Wasn't that pretty much the primary in 2020? He was like, I don't know where I am, but I'm so mad that he just like accidentally won the election. He was like, shucks, I'm not going to let these Cracker Jacks push me around. And he's like, I'm just going to be the president. And it was just like that easy. Because the guy before him also did it very easily. The ground game, it was just like pure aerosolized populism. Because there's no other guys. The only guy who can do it is 115 years old. Okay, so this is really good, actually. Ivermectin is an antiparasitic and anti-malarial. It can be used to treat rosacea. It's good for delousing, and if you aren't aware, viruses are a very small parasite. So yes, an antiparasitic to act on as an antiviral isn't outlandish. So I just think this is why you shouldn't have a strong opinion. Start there. Stop having strong opinions. Because do you know what happens when you have a strong opinion? It's the people who have already diametrically opposed themselves to you in a cultural context will now have to weaponize some way of differentiating from you. And regardless of whether they actually believe in it. You can see like these kind of people, it's on the other end of the arc. If you just keep doing that, then you start to actually believe those things. And you you figure out how to become insane. Like, you work your way up to it. Like, you did the math, you're like, okay, I was normal, but what if I was completely nuts? How do I figure it out? Okay, so they're doing all this research, and they're like, it's this insane way of just getting around, just learning how stuff actually works. Because it's all this battle, it's all this war, so there's this urgency, and so you have to collect all this data and information but you don't have the practice of just like educating yourself. You're epistemologically just, you have no toolbox whatsoever. You don't know how to self-educate, but you do it despite that, because you have to have ammunition in this war, in this culture war, which has nothing to do with anything, really. You're doing this for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Flush a K-cup down the toilet, who even cares? But it all started with a strong opinion that might have been born out of something genuine, or maybe it might have been a reaction to something that the opposite side had. So maybe it was just this rubber ball bouncing back and forth. The reason I need to do a 90-minute stream, why would anyone need to do that? Well, you're thinking, oh, it's only 10 more minutes. It's a lot to just talk. This is not a good way to make a living. It's not good for anyone to do recreationally, because I already feel myself going completely insane. You can't just talk to yourself, and I mean, this is not good for you. It's a lot of yourself. Nobody should be exposed to themselves this much. We're living in a time in which we don't have a lot of control over our environment. Being able to tweet or do one of these is, it's self-expression that's on our terms, so we take it. There's a lot of things that we have to channel through that. Not me, though. I'm normal. That's a you problem. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what you're saying is like this force that moves through people. Think of it like that. It can animate people. If enough voices get together, it can actually make people do things which people ordinarily don't like to do, because doing things sucks. I'm not doing anything right now, and it's awesome. Whatever. Do I have to say vibe? Do I have to resort to saying vibe? Whatever vibe you're putting out, it's just going to bounce back. And it's going to be amplified most of the time. And maybe figure out a way to articulate it differently. Maybe design it a little bit, finesse it, massage it before you broadcast it. You know, one thing you could do is make sure that the stuff that you're saying is even correct, like factually. Again, I know that's like saying, hey, I know a solution. Did you think about fixing it? But if it was easy to fix, someone else would have done it. If it came to me to fix this, we have bigger problems if I'm the one who has to figure this out. My name has been Chunk Nelson, and tune into Chunk Nelson every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I do 30 streams per day, and I make about 40 cents a month. If I had a slightly better setup, I might take it a little more seriously. Like if I had a ring light, which I don't particularly favor that kind of lighting, because with a ring light, you can actually see what the person looks like, and we're trying to avoid that here on the stream. Here's something I need to establish about myself, because I don't think I've expressed this to anyone, and I need people to know when I die, I need this to be a living document. I don't like overhead or fluorescent lights. A fluorescent light is just like, here's some light, I guess. If you really need to see, like, here it is, but I don't care. Whereas, look at this lighting. You can't see anything, but who cares? There's nothing to look at. It's just some guy's apartment, and it's some guy talking. Nobody needs to see anything. It's like I was just talking about. You gotta be seen. What would it be like to not be seen? Is there a way to live separate from this? Yeah. It's called delete your Twitter. It's not that hard. But in a more general sense, like, can you just kind of like have a job, go to work, drive home, go out to dinner. Can you do that without being remote controlled by this stuff? Even when you're not plugged into it, it has like a Wi-Fi connection to you. When you're not looking at it, you're thinking about it. Is there a way to be in the world and not be in the whole entire world? Because we've marketed being informed as like paramount above all. Right? Like if you're not informed, your opinions don't mean anything. Your philosophy doesn't mean anything. Your politics, none of it means anything if you're not informed. But now being informed doesn't mean any. It's just like you read a tweet. Good job. You're informed. Who wrote the tweet? I don't know. He was wearing glasses. I mean, I do that. I do that regularly. I do it all. I think I just did it like 3 times in the last hour. I was like, that must be true, because I like the guy who tweets that. So why would he lie to me? But I get lied to all the time. So what do you do? You can watch my Donkey Kong stream, YouTube. My name is me, and click on it. Do that. Don't look at any of this. Don't listen to anything. Don't listen to anyone talking to you, because there's no such thing as a real world, right? There's just whatever you got going on, whatever you can see from whatever hill you're on, that's the real world. Sorry, but there's way too many people to have an entire real world. The real world stops existing after like 150 people. The more people there are, the less convincing any particular worldview is going to become. Because the more people there are, the more detachment there must necessarily be. And then these stupid ideas just germinate in the stagnant pool of isolation or some other, or actual active toxic force. It's like, I know how 8 billion people should live. Oh. If you know, how come it hasn't been done yet? Because I had to figure it out. Well, why didn't any of the other 8 billion people figure it out before you? I just read the right articles, man. So just do what I want. Do what I want. So if you think you know how the world should work, it's hard to take you seriously. I have an idea. I think I know what our best shot would be, but even that, the culmination is subjectively good. What I actually want, like free healthcare, free housing. Why would I be the guy? Why would I have any involvement in figuring out how to do that? So I hope you enjoyed the stream. Check it out, because that was a really good note to end on. That's what I think. Yeah, so we'll do that. Okay, see you later.